Sound check here, see if you guys can hear me okay. And with the two right away. I can hear myself on the test stream, but let me know if you guys can hear it okay. All the sound settings look like they're fine, and I can see volume coming through. You guys are gonna make me hit that mute button again. Make sure I can hear myself. I guess I will do it. Let's see here. Test spot. Oh. I can hear it. Oh, okay, Ryan. Sorry, I just you said clear. Okay, good. At least that works. All right, so give people a couple minutes to get logged in here. Obviously, today the name of the game was more Brexit data, and again, not necessarily surprised with that. I mentioned last night, didn't expect it to be much of a day, unless there was any type of tweets with, anything impeachment or Brexit related, and obviously we got Brexit data today. For the most part, you can see euro dollar, zero movement in 24 hours, dollar yen, zero, dollar Swiss, 30, but again, that's because some of the comments that people made. Dollar CAD, 11, Aussie dollar, 25, nothing, right? And then anything that has to do with the pound obviously moved a big chunk. 187 in the pound dollar, euro pound up 120, obviously more weakness in that pair. Pound yen, 214. We were down to 89, and this sucker is just starting to roll. But again, that's Brexit. Like I said, today was one of those days that you can't really predict it. Some of this data came from, if I scroll down, you can see that Boris Johnson mentioning some stuff. Talking about anything, capping this. He's creating a law to prohibit any extension to Brexit transition period beyond 2020. So again, they want this stuff done in there. Man, they got their way, and he's getting it all. So yeah, not necessarily surprised. Any type of Brexit news right now is going to be big moves. And again, you don't want to make sure that you're not on the wrong side of that, because that would obviously be quite painful. But you can see, obviously, most of that has happened in the last, obviously there's been a little bit of a pullback in the last probably like 15 minutes. But a majority of that, again, you see 1.4% down, 1.4% up, 1.46 to the downside. Yeah, you're not doing anything with that, it's great if you're in the trade already, but how do you know when Boris is going to talk? So it's kind of one of those things. That coupled with just December low volume is gonna be big. Get some tea. All right, so as I mentioned before, besides that, I didn't see too much moving, and we didn't really get too much in there. I did see an interesting article, though. I did see this one. Fed's capping, don't rely on the U.S. dollar remaining the world's reserve currency. I don't know. He says that now, but I don't know. It's kind of hard for us not to be. Well, we have the economy that everybody wants to get access to. It's kind of hard for us not to be the reserve currency. I get what he's saying with it. Like I said, we'll see. I don't think it's going to be gloom and doom anytime soon. I don't think we're going to get removed. Like I said, we're still showing our data still, can be considered reliable when we get data. Who's going to replace us? The euro was the first person that said they're going to replace us, and that's kind of faltering now. And if you think it's China, China hasn't given an honest news report for a long time. So when we can actually believe the numbers that come out of there, and it's not a manipulated number, maybe. But I don't think the dollar's going anywhere anytime soon. He's trying to smear the markets so people stop buying dollars. I love the comments. The comments are some of my favorite things. So with that being said, guys, going into tomorrow, we do have a bunch of data tomorrow. CPI data, although at this point I think people are more worried about the B word than they are CPI. So we'll see what type of influence that has tomorrow morning at 4:30. But it could give us, something if there's nothing else moving in the morning. Like I said, it's, the last time we had any type of Brexit news in the past, it tends to be very spotty. It's like boom, 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 right on top of each other. That's kind of what we have right now. But 8:30 tomorrow morning, we have CPI for the CAD. And again, because we have no U.S. data at that time, That's going to give us a CAD yen trade tomorrow. Excuse me, potentially a dollar CAD trade, but most likely a CAD trade. You may even be able to take it against like a CAD Aussie or something like that. We'll see what the charts are showing us. 10:30 crude oil. Okay, I will pull up a crude oil chart to see kind of where we're at right now. I know everybody in Texas has their oil flags that they're waving. They want oil to go higher, but we will see if that's what the cards are showing us. At 4:45, we have the pound or the GDP in New Zealand. Again, that one can miss, cannot miss. Again, it's one of those things that it's a little bit smaller of a number, smaller bit. Again, we can trade that with the New Zealand yen or the New Zealand dollar would be the two pairs that you'd be looking to trade it with. Again, spot currency play, you're not trading that over in the Nadex realm just because obviously Nadex is closed during that time. And then 7:30 tomorrow night, unemployment and the employment change, basically the non-farm payroll release for Australia. So definitely be some movement tomorrow night with that. That one's actually been quite an explosive kind of kind of news release. So got something good for that one. That should be good. And then the monetary policy statement. What are they going to do? It's zero, and they're going to go even farther into zero. Maybe no. I mean, it's not going to really make a difference. Yen's having some issues right now, so. It is what it is. So again, got about 4 releases tomorrow, as well as any other additional news. I think tomorrow is the actual I don't know, the passing into the Senate. Maybe I don't know. I think tomorrow's or sometime. I stopped watching the impeachment stuff. I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it anymore. Um, I think tomorrow is when it goes through. I think it's great that people are like, yeah, we're going to be totally fair, and let the evidence speak for itself, but yet nobody's seen any evidence, and it's 800 pages of nothing, and half the people are like, I've already made up my mind, I don't need to see any of the evidence, and the other people are like, yeah, we're going to give this a fair trial. It's like, oh my god, it's just like, I don't know, it's just all over the place. So we'll see what comes of that tomorrow. But at this point, I don't think the markets are concerned at all. I don't know. I don't see it being anything too big that we need to worry about. Okay. These are going to be the big 4 tomorrow. Again, early morning people can take the pound. Then 8:30 we have CAD, and then we have New Zealand, and then tomorrow night before chart school we have the unemployment change and the unemployment rate for Australia. Okay. Now going to the scanner. Obviously, anything that has the pound in it is going to be skewed. You can see an anchor break here inside of the pound basket. Again, you can see this uptrend setup. And again, the only reason it's still an uptrend setup and not an uptrend anchor break is because there was such a large initial move of that 553 pips. So it hasn't quite gotten all the way back down to where that move was. Otherwise, we would have the anchor break to the downside. But it's getting pretty close. Okay. And hey, Brexit has never happened before. It's a big deal. That thing can definitely move and get fancy and go crazy. Interesting things to point on this one. So looking at the majors basket, you can see that the euro dollar is in an uptrend setup, as well as the dollar yen. So again, kind of 2 pairs with the dollar in 2 different places, and both are uptrend setup. Then we have 2 anchor breaks to the downside. Again, New Zealand has also had weakness as well, and that'll be interesting going into the GDP number tomorrow. Aussie dollar sideways up confirmed. Again, looking for some type of a pullback in that position. And then obviously the last 2 is dollar CAD, dollar Swiss. And those are both downtrend setup, pulling back, showing some dollar weakness there. Now, one thing tomorrow, as I mentioned before, and I mentioned it last night, I just want to make sure we bring it up again. The CAD CPI number tomorrow morning, right here, okay? This one is already picked to be, and I mean, the forecast is coming in at negative 0.1. Okay, so we can see if you look over inside of this basket right here, right now, you can see that dollar CAD is downtrend setup, right? It's kind of rallying back up again, getting a little bit of strength in there. This could be positioning itself tomorrow for bad data, especially if this number is not as bad as what the forecast is. This thing is going to just drop through the floor, and again, we'd be getting the setup for that position for tomorrow. Okay, looking at the euro basket. So again, the euro pound, obviously we know what the heck's going on with that one. But besides that, the euro is kind of mixed. We have some uptrend setups, meaning that we have pullbacks in these pairs right now. We have sideways up confirmed with the New Zealand. Again, we know we have New Zealand strength or New Zealand weakness already. Then we have a downtrend setup, meaning that we have Australian strength coming back into this. And then we have EuroCAD, Euro Swiss, and we're also showing weakness, sideways bias to the downside. So kind of a mixed basket. There's not a lot with the euro. There is some German business climate tomorrow morning, super early, and the ECB president is speaking tomorrow as well. So, we'll see. I don't know if it's, there's going to be a whole lot with that speech, but like I said, sometimes having no news is not necessarily a bad thing. When everybody else is reporting bad stuff and you don't report anything, not necessarily the worst place to be in, right? All right, so looking across at the CAD basket is in the middle. Again, we're seeing CAD strength pretty much across the board. Like I said, anytime when the CAD is in the second position and you're seeing kind of that downward, and again, we're seeing the New Zealand CAD, the dollar CAD, the Aussie CAD, and the Euro CAD, we're seeing all that downward movement as we have strength coming back in. But again, the news is forecast to be bad tomorrow. So again, could that be the pre-market move going up to supply levels? Could possibly be, and we'll check that out. And then obviously CAD yen, it's pulling back in that uptrend, and CAD Swiss is more or less sideways. It's kind of mixed across the board between the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour. So, CAD is kind of a mixed bag, especially going into tomorrow. But what we're seeing is a lot more strength in here than we are weakness. Now, in the Aussie pairs, we're basically seeing more or less all the Aussie basket go straight down. And again, this sideways down confirmed, except when we compare this against the Euro Aussie. It's gaining strength here because obviously we can see that it's pulling back. But in the rest of the pairs, it's sideways down confirmed, meaning that we definitely have Aussie weakness, which is interesting. Against everything, basically. Dollar, CAD, Swiss, yen, New Zealand. Yeah, so it's kind of the exact opposite of what we see over here, right? We see weakness here, except against the euro, because we see euro against pound is definitely high. So, it's a little all over the place, right? And again, that's what you got to expect. It's December, I mean, it's December, what do we have here? I guess I could just log out and watch the video, but that might not give Brian as much credit. Don't worry, I'm going to spend some of mine soon. I need the accountability. Yeah, they're all going to jump too, guys. If you're talking about the mentoring, the prices of that are going to go up soon. They're going to go up, but I'm not actually doing if you guys look in the store, it says half hour. I've basically just been doing hours. Hours just make more sense by the time we really dive into the problem and we still start talking about the problem. It's like an hour. So I don't think I've actually done any of the half hour ones. I just always jump it to an hour. But I'm going to jump that as far as January goes. All right. So with that said, let's just jump into charts and see what we can find. Like I said, kind of a mixed bag right now, kind of getting the overlay of the land. All right. Starting off with Aussie. So again, we're seeing this thing push down. Again, it's sideways down confirmed, right? Downtrend confirmed. Again, we're seeing a break below. Okay, we have the red, and it is obviously to the downside. Now, question is, where are we going to run into some buying orders? All right. We're getting to that area, and I talked about it last night. Again, this pair only moved what? Minus 24 pips today. So again, we had a little bit of a pop and a little bit of a push down. We went right back to that original target that we had set, right? You guys remember yesterday that we were like, oh yeah, it came back up again, and then it's going to push, and it did. It made it back to that original target where we had the 75 and the 100. But we're getting that area on the 4-hour. We're getting to a demand zone. Not a bad place to be, particularly with news tomorrow night, the unemployment change and the unemployment rate. Typically, I'm all in favor of that when we can get into a 4-hour demand or supply zone, especially one that's pretty clean like that. Now, it's got to move a little bit. We're over here at what, 74.90 right now. We need to go about 20 to 25 pips more to the downside in about 20 hours from now. Okay. Again, I expect maybe a little bit of a bounce, but being there is a good chance for us to kind of take a bounce and pop to the upside. Again, Aussie data comes in good. This pair will absolutely pop back up again. And again, we're talking about what, about 50 to 100 pips back up again. Again, I don't know if we're going to get 100 pips from that move, but it definitely looks like it could give us something worthwhile to the top side. Again, this level of basing right here is what I'm looking for, right? And we'll see how that reacts tomorrow. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for, is this box right here, right there. Okay, as far as an area we're potentially going to bounce. Now, if we are able to break it again, our original profit target to the downside on this one is over here at 74.23. If we're down there by news time tomorrow, again, maybe this zone kind of gets chewed through all tomorrow, right? And then we end up down in this zone tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Again, we'll be looking to take longs going into that news position. Okay. Now, also New Zealand. Again, we saw that New Zealand weakness. This one just kind of stabilized. I wouldn't say that this one has moved a whole lot. You can see we've gotten down to the start of this move right down here, right? We didn't get into the actual demand zone. We really went just to the top of it. You can see if I hover over here and you guys look to the right, you guys can see that that's where we keep bouncing off of. That's what these kind of two peaks are. Now we're just kind of stuck, right? We're a little bit sideways. We have this area of sellers right above where we are, and we have an area of buyers right below. So again, we're right smack in the middle. Okay, we did put a higher low in, which it's a kind of a little wiki one, so it's not even the biggest thing in the world. But where is there really, really clean movement in here? And the answer is there's really not, right? I mean, there's nothing Again, we had this one spike up here going from Friday to Sunday, and besides that, I mean, this is where we opened Sunday, right here. If I put this line, there's the Sunday open. I'm sorry, there's the first candle close on Sunday, and that's where we are right now. So we really haven't gotten too much. We've gone 10 pips up and 10 pips below, so just not a whole lot of movement in this one. This is one of those ones that I probably won't trade tomorrow. I'll look at the individual pairs versus the dollar. Being a mixed one, we may end up getting kind of counterbalanced with the the New Zealand news at 4:45, and then obviously the Aussie news at 7:30. Okay. All right, look at Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar continuing to push down. Again, this is the one that is down 19 pips in 24 hours. So again, not really a ton. And if you guys can see here, this is where we are right now, right? The 21. Now let me go back up to the 30-minute. I was like, I knew that was off as soon as I saw it. This is where we are right now at the 21, and the last 21 was right here. So we got this one little bounce between basically 12 and 2, right? We had 2 hours of movement, and then it stopped. We are still grinding lower, and again, with no catalyst. I mentioned this last night, not a whole lot of catalyst to really drive this thing anywhere. Again, we're still looking for this to come back down to the 180, 68.20, and then we'll be looking to get into some buying, right? Hopefully, we only need to move about 24 pips. Hopefully, we can get this Aussie weakness going into the news tomorrow, which would be awesome if we can be sitting right here for news tomorrow, right? I'd be really, really excited if we were right there for news, or maybe a little bit higher. Maybe like right there, I'd be really excited. But that's what I'm looking for. If we can get down here for news tomorrow night, again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, employment change, unemployment rate, get in there and look at those binaries, look for something beforehand, and again, look for, if we're up here, if we spike down, look to take longs off this in spot currency, okay? Alan, hello, welcome. Yeah, this is IG. You can see it up here. I did some work with them, so I just used this platform. It's pretty easy. Actually, I did some work for their sister company, Nadex, and again, not really necessarily cross promotion, but again, because it's the same ownership, I use their charts to use it. Yeah, it's pretty easy to navigate, and it's nice that it saves and does some fun things. So I just use it for these presentations. So guys, that's what we're looking for. Price to come down, looking to buy this beforehand, see if we can get the nice little pop out the top. Now, pound to Aussie, obviously, we're not going to talk about necessarily trading this one, but I just want you guys to see what this one was able to do. I mean, look at this thing just grinding, went way back down again. Now, this is the one that we talked about having just mega movement. You guys can see that Brexit move, and this one was about 600 pips, just shy of 600 pips. It's coming. It didn't have the big spike today, but it's just grinding, coming all the way back. Now, I am looking at this area right here, okay? This was the initiation of the gap, and we're starting to get very, very close to it. Not something we would take in Nadex, again, so we got to be careful with our risk on this one, but we are getting back to an area where we know that we definitely have buyers, because again, that's where the launch point was before the Brexit election, okay? So we're getting close to that one. The area is not, I mean, for this pair, it's not huge. Compared to other pairs, it's a lot. Again, we're talking about a 50 pip range. So again, something you may want to go down and grab it on a smaller time frame. But again, you can see how big of a move that is, this thing can actually run, all right? And again, I know for a lot of you, 50 pips is a lot. Again, use your position sizing so you're losing the same amount. It'll be a smaller position, but just more pips. So not really a difference between the two, okay? But again, until we get that back down to this level down here to, 190.35, I'm still probably okay with this one. And again, that's going through this and then bringing us back to this lower level. So I would like to see how it reacts. But again, overall target on this one, it's going to be probably here. That's basically where the target is to the downside. And then I'd be looking to get in some longs. Okay. And again, that's based off the top of the wick right behind this wall. Okay. Longs at that point at 190.65. Yeah, actually, the company that basically IGUS is the forex division of basically it's the US forex division for IG Limited or IG Group or whatever it's called. IG Group, the main UK branch of the company, also owns Nadex. So this is a sister company of Nadex. All right, so this thing is just literally off to the races. We were starting to get a little bit of reversal signal over here at this gap, and we were happy about it. And started to get the pull back a little bit. It wasn't bad. It's like, okay, yeah, we could potentially be having this, but it just ended up pushing through, going back up into that upper zone. So it's pushed higher. I needed to go a little bit higher before we get to the next selling zone, but it's well on its way. Now, I do like this zone up here. This was a pretty good kind of push off of that zone. We're sitting right there. Okay, so we're getting very, very close to the entry. And again, because we came off of this zone down here at the bottom, we retested this one and came higher. This would have been more likely a target, not necessarily a turn and flip. But with the action that we're getting here, I thought we actually may get a flip out of this one. Okay, I didn't trade it, but just because basically for no other reason besides I was super busy today. But again, remember, if we came off this area, this would have been our target, right? Had you not taken the 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio that we had talked about before. Okay. Where it's going now, again, getting that big pullback, and you guys can see how well it respected that daily buying zone. I mean, it literally turned here on a dime, it came back up, and it has pushed all the way back up. Again, this pair is continuing to surprise me. I'm still kind of surprised that we're getting this much movement out of it. Like I said, for so long, this pair did absolutely nothing because we really had no movement whatsoever. I mean, we just had time, it was just a slow grind here, right? It was getting really, really slow. And again, 2 big spikes is like, oh, something good's going to happen. But I mean, like this, look at this. This is, this is the whole first part of December. Well, end of like basically November, September 10th through really over here, right? We're just, oh, this is weekly. That's why I was like, wait a second, hold on. Look at this. This is what we had, right? This is what we're dealing with. And then a little bit of movement, one spike, nothing, and then spike back up again. So even looking at this on the daily, again, you got to be looking at this zone here and saying, okay, listen, the last time the price was up here, it got forcibly turned and smacked back down again very, very sharply. What's it going to do? Okay, so again, going into the rest of this week, it's kind of hard to say that you want to get short this pair with everything that we've seen. I don't know. Like I said, I think if we can get some good pound news tomorrow, that may give us just the bump we need to kind of turn and flip back to the downside. And again, that'd be nice to get a top in off this daily zone, right? This daily zone is, let's see, what are we looking at here? Yeah, it's pretty big. It's about 60. Again, we have this initial level here. Again, that could be a bit of a more aggressive entry, but you may want to actually put in, this may be the smaller, kind of more conservative window in that one. Yeah, that one's probably better. Let's see. Got about 18 pips risk on that one, so that one's not horrible if we're able to kind of get up to that zone. And again, we're just trying to take the most conservative entry based off the way that this one has been reacting lately. The London Open, maybe it's kind of hard. I mean, it's one of those things that if you're on the wrong side of this one, it's jumping quick on you. She likes to take things off swing highs and lows, so her risk on this one yesterday would have been huge. So I mean, like talking about like this morning, she would have been down in this time frame. Problem with this one is you're kind of smack in the middle between the top and the bottom, and she would have, to be sure on this pullback, she would have said I had to take my risk level down here. So because there's been so much movement, again, here's, right, where is it? Here's the London Open candle. Here's where the pullback was, right? This is the uptrend setup situation. She would have had to take the swing. She takes it based off the swing high. She says it's the only true way, right? So you're looking at about 100 pip risk on that one. So yeah. So even for her, this one would be a bit hard right now, just because there's been so much movement and the zones are so spread apart. And again, being in no man's land, it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, again, based off the daily, it wasn't a pullback. It was a pullback here, right? You were getting a pullback in this level, but when you drop down to this zone, this is the level that you're looking at, and it didn't quite get back. So, sure, she got something out of it, but not as much as you probably think, unfortunately. And again, nature of the beast. All right, looking at euro yen. So, you guys can see euro yen. What has it done? Man, it's still playing with this area, right? We had this little top area marked off, and again, this one triggered about 8 o'clock this morning. Remember, we had marked off this top little zone saying, hey, listen, even though it's at the top of the frame, that was a nice push off. That's where the entry would have been. Again, this risk was about 13, right? And right now it is about, where are you at? About 54 in this position. And like I said, I think we can probably push back down to this gap, down this 84 region here. That was one we set up last night that you guys could have taken. I think some of you guys got this one, right? I'm pretty sure a couple of people. Today was a good day. I was busy as heck. Like I said, I was in a doctor's appointment for the one kid from 8:30 to 10:30. By the time I finally got everybody back, it was 11:30. Then the baby was like, "I need to eat now," and then it was like, it was just nonstop today, all day today. So I really didn't get to look at charts much today. But this is one that I know. Again, we set up last night talking about the way that this dropped off this zone and again consolidating it down to this level that you guys could have taken. Okay, yeah, good. You got 45 pips on it off of this zone. Was my moneymaker today? The NYC was my money taker. That's good. All right, Ryan, write that down. The money taker. That needs to go into the meme channel. Put it in the meme channel. But yeah, so this is what we talked about last night, guys. Again, going off this higher time frame range, especially the way that this moved. I mean, again, it's hard to kind of miss this one. Again, 730, 13 pip risk. Again, even if you took 36 out of this one, I guess Wealth Builder, you did good. You got 45 out of it. You got more than your 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. I think it can continue to go to the downside. And again, fill that gap down here at 121.62. All right. Now, euro dollar, we're only talking now. I mean, I guess it's gone down a little bit. We're back to -7 pips in 24 hours. Again, a lot of that has come in the last kind of 15 minutes since we started chart school, the last 30 minutes since we started chart school. But look, if we put this on the 30-minute like it's supposed to be, you can see, here's where we are right now, and then here's where we were. Whoops, where is it? Right there is where we were last night. A little bit of a pop down, grab this zone, a little bit of a pop up. You guys can see where this one popped into. Didn't go quite as high. It actually took the more aggressive. And I think we talked about this last night, that there's two zones here. This is the aggressive one, right? And you could have taken that. I would have taken the top one. So, unfortunately, this was a no-go for me. But, again, you could have got a little bit out of it, but we're just really moving sideways at this point. We're still sitting at this top level. Again, this dotted red line was where we started to see the sellers come in, and we're still stuck there. Not too much. Now, I do see this one once we get some U.S. data. I think this one will come back down again. I think 111 is a pretty healthy number right now for this one. I don't know. I think a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to go on with the impeachment. It's kind of like if you vote D, then you're thinking that this is the greatest thing ever. If you're voting R, you're thinking it's really not a whole lot. I don't think Wall Street really. I think Wall Street's cautious right now about this one. I mean, you never know. There could always be a surprise or something like that, and it will definitely, affect the price of the dollar. So I think with lack of any other U.S. news, that's what this one is kind of hinging on right now, to just that extent. What did I say? Hold on, Ryan. You missed my question higher up in chat about the euro pound. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Not a target sell zone. I want to go back to the euro pound. Asking about. So Ryan, here's the problem with this one, right? I think that this higher one is not a bad zone, right? That's the last time that we actually saw some buying, but in all reality, is that the best one? No, I mean it's based off of the daily, not necessarily the 4-hour, because the 4-hour it has been tested, right? In 4-hour, I would probably look to this upper one, but again, this is a pretty clean zone, and we've seen price push up one time and got turned away from it, so we're kind of right at that level where price has been smacked down, and it does have to break through one. So I'm just thinking that, again, I'm focusing on the daily, refining it to the top. And it's actually a combination of two zones, one lower and one upper. So I'm looking more for the upper. But again, is it the first time it's been in this area? No. It hit here and got turned down and then came here and got pushed back down again. And the gap is sitting right above it. So there's a few things about that area that are just, again, it's basically like there's one level here with the gap, and then there's another level right on top. This is the second level in the group. Hopefully that makes sense. Impeachment. Yeah, Q, I don't think it's going to do much. And they can impeach him, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, they would have removed. I'm pretty sure there's not a chance in hell that he's going to get removed. But you said you may look at. Yeah. Okay, now you said okay. Yeah. Yeah, rally-based drops are, but again, it's got to be a clean one. Okay, this is, again, if you look at this, what did this do? Price came up, sideways and down, up, sideways, down, up, sideways, down, up, sideways, down. That's this, okay? It's not this where it's a drop, sideways, and drop. This is a rally base. Anytime you see a green, it's obviously up, right? So this is the difference. It's a green and a red, so I know price went up, went sideways, and went down. Where this one, it stays red, red. There's no green. I thought you. Yep, I do. Yeah, I do. But it's got to be a good one. I said anything with a pound right now, I'm kind of very leery of. All right, Euro Aussie. See, on the scanner, Euro Aussie was. This is sideways down and then anchor break in two directions. So this was another one of those ones that, again, we marked this level off last night. Okay, again, this is a level that we've seen it push here, we've seen it push here, we've seen it push here, and it actually went slightly higher. Again, we had the area marked off, and we said that there was two ways to take this. Here's the aggressive, you're going to take it on the other side. Either way, the spread on this one is 2, so again, you want to have a little bit, and you can see it didn't go past much past it, and we're just holding there, right? Typically, when you see this holding like this, again, we haven't been able to push higher. It is going for more orders. It's eating up orders in both directions, so it's really kind of putting a taxing on the zone. You can see we've been up here quite a lot. So I don't think this zone has too much. The first fresh zone, again, is going to be this blue one right here. Extend this across. Make sure we keep the base of that. All right, so that's really where the first fresh zone is, above where we are right now. Okay. So again, if you have not done anything with this pair, I'd wait till we get back up to this 163.30 to 163.42-ish area. I think that's a much better entry than where we are right now, especially with it kind of just chiming and crunching through. And again, remember, with unemployment and employment rate, the employment change and the unemployment rate tomorrow night, this has a great opportunity to move, especially if we're floating around these upper two zones. Again, very, very high on the curve. Okay, again, this typically signifies that we're going to have some sort of flip. And again, it pushed up, it came, and it's making a lower high now. So even on the 4-hour, we're starting to get that red, green, red confirmation to the downside, although it's pretty ugly. So like I said, I'd probably wait, see if we can get some euro strength tomorrow during the European session, pop this thing back up again, and then look to take this short tomorrow in time for the news tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Now, pound yen. What's the story of pound yen? Obviously, Brexit, it's down 230 pips. Again, that's why this pair is named what it is. Okay, now again, this thing has just been going straight down. It ended up going through the initial piece of the gap, and now we're sitting down back inside of this kind of hollowed level, right? The two purple lines. And again, the two purple lines are really this kind of area down here where we've seen buyers here, and then we've seen buyers in this lower area. So we're just starting to get back into that level. We did end up going through the black line. The black line was the top of the gap, and we did bounce off of it. You guys can see it grazed it here, okay, at 4:30 this morning, popped up, came down again and rode the top again, popped up again, and then kind of went through before it kind of started to do its push. Most of this push has come in from basically what, 6:30 or 4:30, on. But again, this zone, it did give some kind of resistance there. So not a bad little area. Again, like I said, that's where the gap took off of. So much more interested now. And again, you guys can see this thing spent so much time in this level area here. Like I said, I will be extremely happy, and I'm really, really hoping we do break it. I actually have an alert. I think it's on. I think I have it set in here at 142. Actually, I probably have 142.50. I think is what it is. I'm looking for an alert to see when it goes out the bottom side of this zone. I definitely am still interested in taking this back down to 141.94 and 140.96. Remember, 141 was one of those things forever that we were like, oh God, it's going to go there again. It's going to go there again. And then we finally broke through, and it was this little bit here. That's what I'm kind of looking through to the downside. Remember this zone? This is that purple zone from way back, right? We can't even see how far back it was that we had originally set that zone. Okay, now I'm looking for the same idea. I wanted to break this zone. I wanted to retest and come back to the downside. Okay, so that's kind of what I have on my radar for this. I think it'll probably still go down tomorrow unless we have some good CAD data. I'm sorry, have some good pound data. But at the same time, I'm going to be very leery of this pair. I will only be trading this currently right now on Nadex. I don't, at any moment they could say something and this thing could go absolutely crazy. Yeah, the little one. Yeah. Like I said, it's dangerous. There's going to be some type of Brexit talk, and it's going to move the thing 150 pips. telling Ryan earlier, I'm like, welcome to December trading and welcome to December plus Brexit. It's kind of one of those things. Now, pound dollar's in the same exact place, right? Okay. We'd mark these areas off. This one, the purple lines, I should probably keep it even, but these two purple lines are the gap, right? And what did it do? It hit the gap and then ended up going above, went to the bottom side of the gap and went up and then kind of flatlined before kind of pushing to the downside. So this one is in a similar situation. It's got a bit farther to go. This is the last time we had a clearing wick. Obviously, you can see that we had kind of profit targets to the downside. I'm kind of expecting this one, though, is probably going to start to halt. Excuse me. Very, very big drop, right? This one went off the daily selling zone and has pushed all the way back down again. It is now officially cleared all the basing, but it hasn't cleared the clearing wick yet, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Next profit target in this one, I'll just move this one over, is going to be over in this range, the 129.27 range. And again, it's about 170 pips from where we are right now, so obviously within striking distance. If you guys look right now at the current ATR on this one, okay, you guys can see it was down here, down at like 70, and now we're back up to 120. So we can definitely get a spike to the downside on this into these two profit targets to wipe these things out. Now, this is the one thing I will say. I am a very big fan of the way this is coming down. Okay, we're getting very, very clean impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. Again, not a lot of wicks on the top, and then we had a little bit of a correction move. So I'm really, really liking this. I'm going to remove the purples now just to kind of make it a little bit cleaner so we can kind of see it. This is the zone we're looking to get kind of busted through right now. What I'm starting to do, though, is I'm starting to go on and I'm starting to say, okay, listen, there's going to be a zone here. Okay, I need to follow the zone that's going to be right here. And for lack of a better reason, there is a mini zone right in here as well, too. So just three little zones that you guys want to be looking out for. They're too clean to ignore them as potential areas that there's going to be a turnaround. Now, this could be something like a news spike could go up into one of these areas. It could just, again, it could turn around and then grind back up again. It's a little bit far for it to pull back that far to grab orders to kind of head to the downside. That's more kind of what we have sitting right here. If we get a little bit lower in one or two more candles and then we pull back, this area is more kind of a continuation pattern. Like I said, there's nothing really super, super explosive. Price around this 128 to 129 area in here, right? It's been a lot of time just kind of bouncing back and forth. So if we cancel that out, you can say the last really true bit of movement is in here. Now, are we going to get back down to 122? That's a bit far, right? I mean, you're talking about a very, very far bit of movement there, right? Something really bad would have to happen. I don't know that Brexit will be able to move that far, but we'll see. Eventually, we're going to end up running into one of these supply zones over here, or these demand zones. I'm trying to figure out, I'm wondering if it's going to be this one right here. This area from 130.07 down to 129.81. Again, this like 25 pip range, not a bad range to kind of start having a reversal. Again, it's just below the clearing wick, and we're using up a lot of power to go to the downside here. So I have a feeling all these people that are shorting are going to want to start taking their profit here pretty soon. Okay. What about the wick behind the wall on the pound dollar? Which one? This one here? No, I don't really care about that one. That one, if this is the one you're talking about right here, I'm not concerned about it. Okay. You're talking about this. That. Is that really any type of pullback? No. It's just sideways, and it's just the candles got small because we're basically what happened is this is the London Open. This is where we started to get some movement. And then here was 5, 5:30, 6, and 6:30. So there's not really a whole lot going on that time. It just ran out of volatility, but it didn't leave the area. So it looks like it's something here, but it's not. It's the same area. It's just that the candles got smaller. Again, once it pushed back up again by here at 5 o'clock, it just went sideways because again, no U.S. traders online. Okay. All right, so that's what we got going here. Again, looking for this to go to the downside. Go to New Zealand dollar. All right, so you can see New Zealand dollar is still continuing the pullback, right? So had you been in this position, okay, this is one that Ryan was talking about. And again, you got over your 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Again, if we got greedy for the 5-to-1, it just kind of went sideways and ended up coming kind of back down again. Again, did not rally back up. Remember, this was your entry. This was technically your target. This was another trade that he was setting up for kind of a sideways channel. And again, 8 pip risk, your 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio was right here. Okay, so it obviously went above that. Again, this was the initial target to retrace it back up to the start of the move, which was at the 35 pip range, right? Which was closer to that 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. It did not hit that. It missed it by about 2 pips. So again, you still would have got your 3-to-1, maybe you got 4-to-1 out of it. Since that time, it's just starting to pull back down again. And again, the crazy thing about this one is we've seen dollar weakness in other pairs. This one is obviously some dollar strength coming back down again. Now, tomorrow with the GDP news, that's going to be very pivotal. It's not a miss all the time, but if we do get a miss tomorrow, we can expect some movement. Now, a couple of different places this one can go, right? We had this green area marked off. That green area, I believe, is this. Let's see. Yep, it was that. Clean some of the lines up on this one. So just kind of keeping track of where things are. The last time the price was down in this area, we saw price spike. And again, there's a zone right below it and another little zone right there. And obviously, we still have this zone up top. So these are going to kind of be the two areas, right? The bottom one is 65.37 to 65.19. Top one is 66.30 to 66.42. Those are kind of the top two channels, right, that I'm looking for any type of a new spike, up or down. Where we are now, I think we can continue to drive down on this one to get into that bottom zone. If we can get down to this bottom zone before news, I think that could be a good opportunity to be able to take this long. If we have some good data out of New Zealand tomorrow, that would be a pop back up to the upper channel. I want to see where we are as we get a little bit closer. As I said right now, I mean, there's nothing truly on this 30-minute nor here that I see that looks great. We basically have to rely on this top section and the bottom section on the 4-hour. And it's not like the zones are big. I mean, even on the 4-hour, we're only talking about, 15 pips, right? So nothing too crazy. And again, I don't have that one drawn perfectly. It's kind of off the top a little bit. It needs to be there. Okay. But again, not a very, very large area whatsoever. So that's what we're kind of setting up for tomorrow. All right. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss is down. It's down 24, although it was down larger, and then in the last 60 minutes, it's up 0.07. So obviously getting a bit of retracement in this one. Same thing, this one is sitting inside of a daily zone. It hasn't necessarily found the buyers yet that we're looking for. It also hasn't broke through. So remember, the two options on this one are we're going to take it out the top side of the channel for a long, or we're looking for it to break cleanly, come back up and retest, and then use this same channel, right, to the downside. Now, the channel itself is... Channel's about 25 pips, which is a little bit high for me on this pair. I'd probably shrink that down a bit. I mean, again, we've poached into it many times at this point. Let's see. Unfortunately, it's drawn off this zone here. So let's see. Can we shrink this a little bit now? Yeah, we could probably shrink it down to this level here. Although it's still been hit a fair amount. Let's see. What's our range on this one now? Yeah, it's much better. It's about a 13 pip zone. So yeah. So what I'd be looking to do is I'm going to be waiting for this. I'm going to wait for a break below, a retest up, and trade down is what I'm looking for. They'll probably go in that order. Or obviously, again, we'll see if there's any type of U.S. news tomorrow. Now, I will say this. If tomorrow is the day for all the impeachment information and something comes out that is a bit surprising, or unexpected in the market, this one will show it, and it will be a downward. It will be a downward move. There'll obviously be some U.S. weakness. Again, any type of uncertainty is what brings the Swiss strength. So, if there is some funky news tomorrow, which I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at this point if there is some funky news with it. Again, who knows what it could be? I don't even know. But any type of funky news, I think, is what could be the catalyst for this one to the downside. But again, 13 pips risk. Yeah, let's do it this way. Again, looking for a breakout here. We go for a breakout to there. Okay. Oh, I wanted to be perfect. There we go. Yeah, so you're looking at about 13 and a half. So that's kind of what we're looking for right now for this pair setup. All right. Looking at dollar CAD. Now, dollar CAD is one of the two probable pairs tomorrow morning for the 8:30 release. Okay. So I think we marked this off last night as a potential area, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we marked this one off before. Again, this was an area where we saw some sideways bashing on the 4 hour. It hit it, it went down. It didn't go too much farther since that time. Again, you guys can see on the 4 hour, definitely consolidating. You guys can see the top of the wicks coming down, the bottom bar going up, again, forming that kind of like arrow shaped or wedge type pattern. This one, I don't even think had too much risk in this. This was like so tiny. Yeah, it's 15. I mean, you could have taken it just off the top, although that would have been a bit risky. Would have much rather taken it off the side here. So, I mean, we'll see what it does. I mean, like I said, we are bouncing off a zone. A potential profit on that is going to be this lower area right here, right? Although most likely the profit target will be here first. That's where we'd have to be conservatively, okay? So again, if you got into this one, this would be about 15 pips, and it's about 77 back to the downside. Okay. And again, that was one we had marked off last night. Now, if you were in this one, the most we were up in this today was about 23 pips. So, not quite 2 to 1, about 1.5. And again, you had to kind of expect there was going to be something based off of this level right here. Okay. So again, it flipped at the right area. We'll see. I don't think it'll hold a second time though. Very bottom side of it. But that's kind of what kind of flipped this one on its head. Okay, and made this a lower rank trade. All right, we'll see what that one does in the morning. Like I said, this is very important. If we can kind of rally back up and stay inside of that zone for the news release tomorrow morning, that tends to kind of show me that we're going to have some good CAD news. And again, as I've been saying all week, it's already picked to be negative. If it's not as negative as they think it's going to be, obviously that'll be CAD strength that needs to readjust, and that would be what's heading us to the downside on this one. Looking at dollar yen. Come on, you can switch. You can do it. All right, so dollar yen still sitting in that upper zone. I feel like a broken point. Here's where we are now. Here's where we were last night. So had a little tiny bit of movement, a whole 9 pips since last night. Again, the entry was still, if you're still in this one, again, it's just, again, you're like watching paint dry. I haven't been a big fan of this one, but again, it held off that top zone, and it's still kind of pushing to the downside, right? You're still inside of that, the upper reaches of that that daily supply zone. It's still there. It's getting slow. Yeah. I'm sure one of you guys is in this trade, or a couple of you are in this trade, but yeah, it's just slow. It's still moving. It's going. Like I said, I think if there's any definitive impeachment news tomorrow, you'll see something. You'll see some movement in this pair. Crude oil, I don't think we'll have too much with it, effect on this one. So yeah, still bearish that pair. Let's look at CAD yen. As we do that, let me pull up oil charts and look at this in 2 different places. All right, so as I'm pulling the other charts, let's see. Another window may pop up here in a second. No, it didn't. Okay. Let me go across. Go here. All right. So this one, not a lot of movement again. So what we were hoping to do last night when we were talking about this one is hoping that if we could get the rally back up again, and we could be in this upper range here, above 83.48, right? That would be the absolute perfect place for us to be for news time. Now, there's still hope. It still can move. It's only got to move about 30 pips before morning time. It may or may not be able to do that. But again, it's kind of putting us in that situation. If tomorrow we do nothing but kind of come down and we're sitting right here in the middle, we need to be a bit more cautious. Now, it can definitely move 30, 40 pips with a missed bit of news. Maybe potentially even a little bit more than that. So ideally, we'd like to get it, again, we'd like to catch it before, but unfortunately, we may not be able to with the movement that we've had in there. Here's where we are currently right now at 21.30, as you guys can see. And looking back, the 21.30 candle from last night was right here. So haven't really moved. We've gone up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, and we're at the exact same spot. So just sideways movement, and this is where this pair can kind of be a pain sometimes. I'm going to think today, top to bottom. If you were able to grab the very, very top to the very, very bottom, it was about 20 pips, right? So just not a ton of movement. Going into news tomorrow, we'll definitely be looking for a bit more of a spike. Um, the way I'm looking at it right now, again, everything else seems to be kind of early hinting that it's going to be some CAD strength. This one again is not really giving us necessarily a big direction. Just be aware of any type of CAD strength to the top side. We don't have a lot of room to run. We got about 45 to 50 pips. Again, if we rally up into this zone, that's a signal for me to take a short around the 83.50 zone to take it back down to 83 flat, which would be a profit target of potentially right here, right? Right about in there. We're a little bit high, but right there. Okay. And again, that's if we have good news spiking us up and then turning and flipping back to the downside. Okay. And again, a little bit of a demand zone right below us. So again, not the best one, but that maybe will give us the catalyst we need to kind of get us up top. But again, news, good, hit, short, down, risk level. Okay. Hopefully you guys got everything on that one. All right. So with that being said, let me pull this guy across. All right. So this is a little bit different of a chart that we can use. Actually, I can use, let's see. There you go. So it actually works here too. We're going to set it on, should be catching up. This is the new one that I'm trying. I just got another one that I'm having to check. So right now we're saying that we're sideways. So again, let's do analysis on the daily, right? So last time in this one, areas that we were seeing, again, this was an area that we kind of floated around for a while, right? With price going back down again. We did spike up and we did take orders out from this zone right here, right? And that's where we hit last time. So we definitely have to be on the lookout for that area. That area on the daily is going to be over here at 62.82. Right now, being where we are at 60.43, that is a bit of a jump. So again, it may be a little bit high for us to be able to kind of shoot there that far. And again, let's mark off areas to the downside where we've seen obviously buyers before. I guess really the zone is probably conservatively there, right? With again marking kind of this bottom section off here. Let me extend this across just so we can have it a little bit farther, right? All right. Now let's drop this down to a 4-hour. Okay, and you guys can see if we can get a little bit better of a reading here. That's funny. It is saying we are in an uptrend setup situation right now. Although, hold on, I should have the way that I set it. Let's see here. Indicators list. That should bring us to, yeah, there we go. So yeah, so in the 4-hour, we're sitting outside of an uptrend setup right now, looking for a pullback area. And again, we know where that pullback area is. It's going to be back over in this area. So that's kind of interesting to look at. Now, looking for big kind of explosive candles here. Not really as much, right, on the 4-hour. I mean, we had a bit of a gap, but we kind of tested it already. Man, there's just really nothing. I mean, the only really clean thing is sitting down here. Fortunately, that's way down here at 50, at what, 56? Yeah, I don't really like much of the supply, much of the demand in this one. Really, I mean, there's nothing like super clean until like down this level. That's pretty far. Change this to, go back. Let's see what we can find. All right. Wow, and this one, even on a shorter time, the only real thing we got is up here, right? So we're looking at kind of like this area. And even that is sitting up here at 61.50. Now, again, that's about 90 pips from, or 90 cents. I guess I can't say pips, but about 90 cents from where we are right now. So that's kind of an interesting situation. Let's drop down And again, it's telling us that we are in an uptrend setup. Let's drop down to 1 hour and see if we can clean that up at all. Yeah, we can trade. We can do it a little bit. There we go. Probably there. It's probably the better one. You can kind of see where we're at there. So, now again, you guys can see this one. This is a downtrend setup using the, I can confirm, yeah, 60-minute near term. Let's see. All the way across. Let's stretch this bad boy out a bit. All right, so a little bit more on this one. We can see that obviously today was a bigger day to the downside. I hate the way that was formed there. Huge fan of that one, but we'll see. Tango properties. Let's put horizontal properties. We'll change this to there and there for two different spikes. So that puts us at 60.78 and 60.03, and we're at 60.40 right now. So again, if we get 40 cents of movement, top or bottom, that puts us in at least 30-minute supply or demand near term. And that, again, that could lead us into some type of an oil binary tomorrow morning before that news release. Yeah, this is MT4. This is CL on MT4. Yeah, so that's probably the best thing we have going right now. Let's see. Let's test this as well. See if this is showing too much. Let me go back. Yeah, see, it's this one for any like high quality zones. It's only showing a zone down here. It's showing this blue zone was as a high quality zone, and it's the next one it's showing is this red one up here. As far as meeting the parameters. Now remember, it does have something in there that, basically shows the multiplier of how fast it came off of a zone as far as a definition goes. So that is the only two right now. But that would have been a nice one, a little snag. So this blue one and this one is an auto drag. Okay. Let's see. Test that one. Okay. All right, so that's what we're looking for on those two. Like I said, you were looking. I think 30 minutes is probably on the shorter term is probably our best bet to see if we can get something on that one. And again, your two levels on that one are going to be 60 and 60.76. Again, we're kind of smack right in the middle. So 40 cents top to bottom from now to morning time would give us kind of turnaround points. And yeah, we'll see what that gives us. All right. So that is the MT4 oil look today. Like I said, I don't think anything else. Wow, Bitcoin's down to 6,600. I just saw that. Here's another oil chart. This one's no different. You guys can see it's the same thing. Said, in your daily, it's that same zone up top here. Your hourly, same thing. It's going to be this little bit right here, that little bit at the top. And 30 minutes is going to provide us the same thing. So not bad. MT4 trading oil versus, versus trading oil here. Not too much different, right? Except that, we got to click it twice versus the only piece. Okay. So yeah, same thing. We just can see the volume in here. You can see all the volume drove that up top. So that's what we have going. So not much different. Now we can look at it and it will be saved in the MT4 charts. So let's see. Pull this back up again. Let's go over to here. All right. So again, just to kind of just kind of recap with what we have going on tomorrow. Make sure 4:30 in the morning for any of you guys that like to stay up late. We have the pound. We have the cat at 8:30 a.m. Like I said, I think there will be some positions set up. Definitely jump in there for the 2-hour binaries, but cat is one of the ones that does have a little bit bigger of a spread on those, or the strike differential. So just be cautious with that if you're not used to it. Again, that would be a CAD dollar play. And then obviously crude oil at 10:30, and then New Zealand, which is not a Nadex pair, so that's a spot currency only. And then tomorrow at 7:30, my favorite one of the day is going to be obviously the employment change and the unemployment rate. All right, all cryptos. Yeah, I saw it. I saw somebody mention it earlier. Here, I'll pull that one up real quick if you want to see it. Um, like I said, I look at this occasionally. I should probably I'm probably due for my like once monthly like trolling post, right? All the people are like, no, it's coming back up, and I'm gonna post this, be like, hey, where are all those people now that are like I need to like literally take a picture of this and send it to him, like, hey, remember when you kept telling me that it was I was stupid that I didn't buy it, like, do you still have yours? Because I just want to see like how much have you lost now, like this was a big one that a lot of people knew that I knew they were like, no, it's good, you got to get it. I'm like, no, I don't need to get it, and now it's like all the way down here. But yeah, so for any of you guys that are on Facebook, I'm going to screenshot probably the first six, just because, again, this is a biggie. And I'll be like, hey, all you experts, what happened? I thought, last time when I went over 11, you guys were all bragging how, I was stupid and anybody who didn't have it was wrong. But what's going on? You know? And somebody said, I saw something today that there was, yeah, there it is. There was a huge scam going on in China where people were promising huge returns on investments. Yeah. Well, again, it's China. So there's some huge sell-off going on now because of it. Yeah, because yeah. My favorite is, hey, listen, we got robbed and we were able to trace where it went. It was from these guys. It's like, well, if it was untraceable, how do you know where it went? Right? So, yeah. Scam. All right, so let me pull this across, guys. Again, I'll do the drawing in 1 second. Or actually, I won't do 1 second. When it says 104, I'm going to close it down and draw. If you guys want to try to time it and figure out what your delay is, one of these days I'll figure out how you guys can kind of see what your delay is. I don't know how I would do that though. Oh, you guys can't even see this anyway. Hold on. There you go. There you go. I'll wait till it says 104.30. How about that? Question is, can I pull? All right, so I have a 10-second delay right now. 9. I don't know if you guys can see that. You guys can see what my delay is. I have a 9-second delay. You guys can see what the difference is there. I'm not sure where you guys are. Look at FX Jones. Delay on this side is about 20 seconds. Okay. It can be different. I have the really good connection there, remember. I have the 1 gig up and down, so I get like 900 up and down. Take 2 since Ernest is going to get. If Ernest wins tonight, there will be a riot. I'm just saying. Just saying. I see Josh. I see Wealth Builder. Who else are we missing? Oh, Q's in there. Where's Alan? Alan, I don't think you did it either. Alan, if you're still there, hit exclamation point ticket. According to me, missing my entry last night on the drawing. Oh, okay. You can close it now. It's all right. All right, I'm gonna shut it down. I think Alan left us. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. And the winner is. It's funny. Like when I say the winner is, you guys are actually seeing, because it takes 20 seconds. You're seeing the winner before I actually say that. So I'm gonna wait just a second. So by the time you hear this, it's already out. Ready? And go. Ooh. Ooh. Can no longer enter. What? Yeah. Look at that. It's been a while. Actually, I don't know. Have you ever won? Hey, don't make me hit the draw another winner. No, I won't do that because then you guys get mad. Then it's like when the person next to you has like 19 and they hit in blackjack, and then they get the card that you need. So I won't do that. But I will give Q right here. Give him his 25 pip chips. There you go. And guys, just so you know, again, here's that. Well, this is what your pip chips are for. And like I said, I forgot to add the other item. I'll add that tomorrow. I meant to do it today, and I just couldn't do it. Um, it'll end up being in here, and I'll be that the one indicator that I use. I'm gonna start putting some of the indicators up here for you guys. If you want to purchase them, like I said, they're not. It's more just for you know, to be able to have something fun. And for the people that were at the Christmas event, I did get the first gift in because I wanted to make sure the gift looked completely good after the drama with all the shipping and everything. Everything was supposed to just immediately be shipped to Ernest, and I was instilling Ernest with the trust to bring it to the dinner, and it was just so much drama. I'm like, where's the shipping? Where's the shipping? Where's the shipping? I was like, you know what? With all that drama, I'm like, you know what? Send one to my house, and then I'm gonna send it out to the first one was Wes's, and I got it. It looks absolutely amazing. The problem is, I think it's gonna cost like the shipping. I think is gonna be unreal on it. I'm gonna try to ship it in the same package and see how much it costs, but I may just have to use their free shipping and then just order extra ones and then just have one at the house to keep. So, but yeah, you guys can look out for those. Obviously, with the holidays, I don't know if they're going to get to you before Christmas, but they will most likely they'll be to you by the end of the month. Um, I think I can get them in like 4 days or whatever. So, but yeah, there'll be some of them that are going out tomorrow. When you guys get those gifts, you guys have to make sure that you post some screenshots to make everybody else jealous inside of the Discord channel. But you guys should be looking at those soon. Never won. First time in 4 months. Thanks. I just need James Moonshot now. Yeah, right. So, all right, guys. With that said, I hope you guys have a good trading day tomorrow. And like I said, got some good ones tomorrow. We got 2 CPIs, a GDP, and an unemployment change. So let's go out there. Let's make some money tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care.